Welcome to the accu-rate Residential Fire Sprinkler Estimating System number 103. System 103 is designed for residential fire sprinkler estimating. It is in simple Microsoft Excel or Apple's number format. It is constructed the same as System 104 for service and retrofit work and 105 for large job estimating, but arranged specifically for residential work. You will estimate your work 10 times faster than your competitors. Your customers will call again and again because they recognize that you are in the computer age with quick and reliable pricing. You will provide your sales agents with reliable bidding data and you with absolute control. To illustrate, we will perform an estimate for a small one-story home having sprinklers in the basement, all in accordance with NFPA 13D. In addition, we will show the benefits of the accu-rate fire sprinkler estimating system and how it works. We begin with the riser. We'll need a backflow preventer. Shows a 1-inch Wilkins double check assembly. 1-inch valve, test and drain orifice, flow switch, control valve sign, 1 gauge pack, 1 horn and light assembly. Note that's to be installed by the electrician. You will need to qualify that in your proposal. We go below the line. We have a number of items that need to be considered. This is typical of all estimate pages. Here we have miscellaneous, 3%. 3% represents tape, putty, cyto, cutting oil, whatever you consider that's not included in the above. Sales tax, that's the state of Missouri sales tax and the local taxes. If there's a tax-free job, you put a 0 in. Labor protection factor, for some reason you may be inconvenienced and you're required to put some time in there for some reason. If you put in 14%, that represents 1 hour out of 8 is lost. 7% if you need a half hour. Material inflation protection, 5% is this. You're going to bid this job in July. You may not get it until January. You may not be able to buy anything until March or April. You can be assured that there will be some inflation. The prices that you have in this system is your Viking net prices that you would pay the day you download it. You can get some protection, but you may want to put some number in there. That's your choice. But $55 an hour is his wages plus social benefits plus company benefits. Ditto for the journeyman, ditto for the apprentice. You may choose to put the journeyman on the job instead of a foreman. Fine, change that. Or you may choose to put the journeyman on a job and 50% of the time being the apprentice. As you see, I restored all the original numbers, and we will now look at an item called overhead costs. This is your overhead budget for the year. That would include your wages. That's not included in your job wages. Your clerks, insurance, trucks, fuels, tools, anything special, and professional services. Let's assume it's $250,000 a year. That could be your overhead or the budget that's assigned to you. And you're working 5,400 hours a year. Your average cost is $46.30. But you discover that your estimate says that you're going to be working 6,000 hours, it'll be reduced to $41.67. However, if your overhead increases by $50,000 and you're working 6,000 an hour, it's now $50 an hour. The system worked well for us. I'm sure it will work well for you. Here we have tanks and pumps In some areas, you will need to install those. I have very little experience with them. I am familiar with them, but just have no labor data to pass on. So therefore, you see some numbers in red. When you see that, those are strictly an estimate that I put in there. Better to have something than nothing. If you need to purchase a tank assembly, call Viking at 1-800-451-3772. They will need to know the gallons per minute required for your pump selection and the pump head. We move into the sprinklers. You have 6 sprinklers in the basement that are upright. In your residence, you're going to have 11 horizontal sidewall sprinklers, 11 dome covers, and 11 expansion rings if necessary. Again, you'll see the same items below line as you see on page 2. We move to the piping, and my takeoff says I have 190 feet of 1-inch pipe required, 21 L's, 23 T's, 17 1 by 1/2 adapters, 1 3/4 inch adapter, and 3 pints of cement. Now we will show you some items about how the system is built. There are 8 columns. One is for your material quantities. This is the product number, product description, and the unit price for the product, unit cost for labor per hour, and extension of the hour in column G, and in column H is the total extension. Presuming it's not 1-inch pipe, you may want to select a different type of pipe. We have 2,500 line items in this system, and you can change it to whatever you wish. Note, as I correct this to 1 inch, the unit price and the labor will change. If you change the size of the fitting, the unit price and the labor will change. It's called a validation system. In this column, column B, we have the product number and a lookup program to look up the cost for that item. In column D, we have the unit cost and the unit labor cost. Here we have the Viking page showing the Viking product number, the Viking description, and it's looking up this price of $84.33 and a labor that's assigned to that. If you wish to change the labor to 1.25 hours, it's done just like that. And you'll note when we go back to the riser page, it'll be the number that I just assigned to it, 1.25. So it's an easy system to work. It does require a little maintenance. However, you can note how quick everything is being done. This is your summary page, your total cost for your riser, your sprinkler work, your CPVC piping. We're now down to $4,230 as your line item. We have room in here for other items. Here we have overhead premium. If you wish to put some overtime premium in there, it might be for, just $15 an hour, and you might have 12 hours if you want to put in there. Your permits for sprinkler is $5 in your estimate. It might be $3. That's something that you'll have to know from your community. Plan development may be as high as 20% if you're using a professional engineer. However, if you're NICET 3 certified, you can do the plan development and the engineering. However, someone has to do it. Someone has to be paid for it. 4% profit. We've calculated only the overhead. You need to make a profit. If you don't make a profit, you're going to lose your business. You're going to finance this job for the greatest month cost or how long it's going to last. The customer is going to hold 10% of your money for 6 months or a year. You may have to borrow that money. The bank is going to charge you. You've got to charge the customer. You have to make a profit. We now have a checklist, items that are often forgotten. You may be familiar with them. Consideration for alternates, backflow preventer, other devices, caulking, fire pump, etc., etc. These are all items, as I was clicking it off, you might recognize them. The water service is going to be by others. Each community has a different requirement for water services. Sometimes you have to bring it in. Sometimes the plumber will come bring it in. Sometimes you'll be coming off the plumber's water service. It gets a little complicated, so I've abandoned that effort. We have ratios. The building, that area that we're sprinkling is 1,500 square feet. Therefore, it's and the cost $4,230. Ratios are important. It gives you some idea as to what can happen should a mistake be made. But the building area is 1,500 square feet. The cost, subtotal 1, is $4,230. Therefore, we got 88 square feet per sprinkler, 17 sprinklers, 30 total hours. The cost is $249 per sprinkler, 2.82 hours per square foot, $2.82 cost per square foot, 1.79 hours per sprinkler, 49 square feet of production per hour. For man days, $52.50 average wage, and 38% of rate labor relative to the total cost. You notice a couple of red flags. These require some attention to the numbers, but the ratio will show you those things. And what if it's a 2,000 square foot area? You will see some more red flags. So as mistakes are made in the estimate, they can be shown up here. Profits are won or lost before the job begins. Use the accu-rate fire sprinkler estimating system to be sure that you are a winner. I will assist you in any way to get your system online. You can reach me through the accu-rate website at accu-rate.biz.